Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 242, and today we're going to be playing with the Black Flame Taliyah Ziggs. And so, exciting stuff with this one. I've been looking for opportunities to play both the Black Flame, just the big value generating landmark that summons a fresh unit on attack, and then the Rockbear Shepherd, which is a card that I had initial impressions of as being one of the big breakout cards in the expansion. I thought that it might see play in much more of a Sun Disky kind of format, but it's been seeing a lot of play in these more aggressively oriented Ziggs decks. And so with Worlds Beyond Us, Worlds has come and gone. If you didn't get the chance to watch it, I thought it was great. You should definitely go back and check out those VODs if you give a care about the competitive scene. I thought it was very well done this year and lots of exciting and interesting games. But the big winner of Worlds, Aragorn, brought this sweet list that kind of just checks off the boxes for everything that we are looking for, right? It's extremely relevant in that this was in the Worlds winning lineup. It has both the Black Flame and the Rock Bear Shepherd in it. And I'm definitely on board with what's happening with this here today. And so traditionally, Taliyah Ziggs have been around. You know, they're nothing new to the format. This combination has been in effect almost the entire time that we've been playing Constructed. So the past, 6 or 9 months or so, these two friends have been doing battle in force. Now, the big thing that you typically see with these, and the problem that this deck looks to fix, is that they don't really deal much damage on their own, right? If you want to say, okay, I've got this flipped Taliyah, I attack, opponent blocks it with a 3-3, right? That's not particularly exciting. You do 2 rock smashes into the 3-3 and kill it. The remaining rock smash does 2 damage to the face, and then you're kind of done, right? Taliyah doesn't deal any damage because she got blocked. But if you're able to give either champion Overwhelm, you kind of fix that problem, right? So in the same idea, if we've given Taliyah Overwhelm, she gets blocked by a 3-3, she's going to do 6 damage at that point, since she has the 2 damage from the rocks and then the 4 damage from the Overwhelm coming into no blocker. Now that tends to get exceptionally stronger when we find our Overwhelm engines with cards like the Absolver or with the Herald of the Magus. Now that Taliyah is, say, a 6-8, she's going to be punching in for 8 damage in that scenario. And so this has been kind of the classic Taliyah Ziggs idea and thought, is taking advantage of the overwhelms, and then they kind of incidentally just deal stuff with the landmarks, right? And so for a long time we played cards like the Arsenal. When the Arsenal got nerfed to where he couldn't get Scout, and I think he cost 1 more mana, he pretty much got wiped off the face of the board, but people still managed to find ways to fit Taliyah Ziggs into their best of 3 lineups. It doesn't really fit into a lot of ladder grinding, but if you're facing down a lot of decks like Nora that just look to flood the board with a bunch of crappy units but width, then having these big overwhelms has always been a reasonable way to come in and crush down those games. But now we do have the new tools into the format. The ones that we're looking at here are going to be the Black Flame. This has lots of usage in this deck, whether or not you're copying champions, right? It's quite nice to be able to, say, put a Taliyah on the board, capture her with the Black Flame, and then play a second copy of Taliyah. Since her flip card is so bad, getting that kind of double boost is quite strong. You can do the same thing with Ziggs, getting 2 copies of the champion onto the board. But what tends to be more likely and more realistic are we're just copying big value units. We have the 5/5 Grumpy Rock Bears coming out of cards like the Desert Naturalist and the Rock Bear Shepherd. Attacking with an additional 5/5 every turn of the game is pretty good. But then we also get, other additional combos, right? If we have a Herald of the Magus on the copy, the resummon is going to give our champion all of the bonuses. And if we have something like Endless Devout on the copy, each attack is going to give us a sarcophagus. And so we have lots of interesting and strong combos coming out of our deck with the usage of the Black Flame. And then at the end of the day, this is still just a unit capture, right? And so if we want to come in, we say copy Taliyah, and then opponent blows up the Black Flame, we still get our unit back. If we want to say, come down, copy our Taliyah with the Black Flame, but then throw the Black Flame away to a Rite of the Arcane, we still get our Taliyah back, right? And so it's not a horrifically bad investment. We aren't just losing out on the unit if we eat something with the Black Flame and then have to do something else. And so it's a very powerful card to be including with all of these sweet combos. and then the thought that we aren't actually coming out and losing our unit. The next piece of the puzzle here is the Rock Bear Shepherd that we've been talking about. Just an absolutely fantastic way to churn out these rock bears and to churn out the likes of these sarcophagus units. The really kind of common play that you see with the usage of the rock bear is going to be with Taliyah. And so if you want to imagine that we have a hibernating rock bear on the board, it has a 1 countdown left on it. We copy the rock bear with Taliyah. She gets to actually do the copy before the countdown reduction happens. And so at the end of the day, if we copy that 1 countdown hibernating rock bear, we're going to end with the 2/5/5 units. And so very powerful things coming out with the rock bear, but it also helps just cure a lot of the problems that we used to have with the rock bears, and that they just take way too long to count down. So very powerful abilities coming out of our friend here, the Rock Bear Shepherd. Some of the kind of other things to call out with this deck before we really get into battles. Unworthy Soul is a strong addition in this Aatrox-heavy lineup, in this Aatrox-heavy format, blowing up the landmark in addition to getting the recall, quite strong. But as we're also seeing a bunch of Taliyah Ziggs, or just Ziggs in the Ruinous Acolyte deck, being able to return landmarks can be useful as well. And so don't think of the Unworthy Soul as just a unit targeting thing. You can also return the opposing landmark. So if we're facing down a Rite of the Arcane, we can return an opposing landmark to get the counter spell onto this thing. Other neato things in the deck, we do have the Rite of Negations in here, as we are in a very champion strength heavy meta. Having these counter spells for the champion strength can be quite strong. Quicksand also does a bit of work against the champion strength, potentially taking away some of the opposing scouts and some of the opposing elusives. And so quite strong, quite powerful things there. The last thing I wanted to call out before we did come in and jump into battle is maybe a balancer patch 2 ago. Riot went and kind of reworked how a lot of these cards like the Sarcophagus happened. The Sarcophagus from the Endless Devout now says that if its countdown completes or if it's destroyed by one of your cards, you get the 5/3 unit. And so that makes us in the spot to where if our opponent has Sarcophagus on the board, we can blow it up with a Desert Naturalist and the opponent won't get the unit. And so just some new kind of interactions coming into the game. With the kind of rise of the Taliyah Ziggs, the rise of some of these Endless Devout-based decks, along with the increased popularity that these hadn't exactly seen until the Rock Bear Shepherd was printed. And so, good stuff. I'm ready to have fun with this. I hope you are too. We can go ahead and jump on into battle. I've got a premium Rock Bear Shepherd already. He was the last one. He's the last remaining non-epic in the deck from the new set, and so the price is paid, right? Just needs to start releasing bigger sets so that we can turn more cards premium. All right, reasonable enough start though. I don't think we're going to be getting into too many exciting combats here in the early game. Like the opponent's not going to have a lot of ways to blow up the landmarks from the Unraveled Earth, so we'll just go ahead and get rid of it. Hang on to the Rockhopper and the Ziggs. Look for some more early game stuff to do here against Tryndamere Trundle. I assume this is just going to be a Feel the Rush deck that has Deny in it, but we'll have to wait and see what opponent's going to bring upon us. All right, Rockhopper coming in. Now we get to do some of these really sweet combos, right? We have the opportunity to, say, play Ziggs on this upcoming turn, remove Ziggs with the Black Flame, and then copy the Black Flame with Taliyah so that we get to kind of double summon Ziggs on those upcoming turns. It's pretty sweet, right? It's pretty cool. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see what happens. So I think the real question on this upcoming turn is going to be, do we want to open attack? Opponent's going to have access to 6 mana. And I think we're going to want to. If he's going to be able to come at us with a Trundle next turn, it's going to shut down what we're trying to pull off. And so, well, I mean, maybe it's not even that terrible if he has Trundle. Big pickup with the Rock Bear Shepherd, though. I like getting a little bit of a bank since sending a Trundle back to hand with the Unworthy Soul is such a big tempo swing. But if we play the Rockbear Shepherd, he's not attacking. And so if we're looking to play the Endless Devout this turn, then I think we'll consider it. But if we're looking to play like Rockbear Shepherd or a Black Flame, I think we want to just go ahead and open attack. All right, the King of Trolls coming through. Give me some of those copies. A little unfortunate that our Ziggs isn't going to be flipping anytime soon, but we're about to pop off some of these sweet combos. Give me the sweet combos, please. He says, "Oh shit, bust. Your combos is sweet." So this is a pretty good spot, right? Assuming he plays something like Unworthy Soul here. He brought something forth and pulled it back, but if he's going to return one of our landmarks, then we still get our Ziggs back, right? It's just a capture onto Ziggs. So pretty powerful things there. Now I'm going to look to add the Rockbear Shepherd to the board. Well, I guess the thing to worry about this turn would be like a Buried in the Ice, right? If opponent gets to Buried in the Ice this board and then blow up everything on the next turn, since we do have just a board completely full of landmarks, maybe we just stop here. This is still a pretty strong attack all on its own. Well, it's like we're pretty close to being able to present that lethal, and so maybe we, like, I'm just kind of seeing us with the Unworthy Soul and the lethal potential, but that's tough. He's up to some kind of shenanigan here, right? I think that part is at least very clear. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right. Well, I do want to look for a Rite of Negation. So let's drop an Ancient Preparations, see if it turns itself up. Does not. I don't really want any of these cards, so we'll just take the skip, and we can send Trundle back to hand. He overdraws Avalanche. Sure. Now, the thing with this Ice Pillar is he hasn't got to... Trundle needs to see the Ice Pillar come into play, so he can drop the Ice Pillar and drop a Trundle after, but Trundle's not going to be flipped. He needs to be on board when this pillar comes down. There's the Yit that stares. It's going to blow up the landmarks, right? But we get our 2 copies of Ziggs back. And now that we have all of these dead landmarks, did we hit the 3 we needed? Oh, I have to destroy with the Herald. Whoops. That's okay. We're still in a really strong spot here. We're going to send the friend back to hand. 1 landmark summon will get Taliyah to flip. And we unfortunately won't be getting the Rock Bear on board, but we can still drop Rockhopper and hopefully just get out of this, even through some heal or even through some Harsh Winds style combat tricks. Why didn't we get our second copy of Ziggs? What did I miss with that? That was odd. We missed something. There's the Harsh Winds, okay. Shouldn't have Vengeance here. Rough stuff. Do we ever want to just drop the Unraveled Earth to see if we can't dig up a spell? I don't think so. Maybe on a following turn. If our Ziggs was flipped, then it would make a bit of sense, but I think we can wait a little bit. She Who Wanders is a problem. I give you that. I give you that. See what we can do, though. We still have. I'm really glad we have the Unraveled Earth now, but we still have some potential on this upcoming turn to get dudes on the board and make a play with the Black Flame. Maybe we have some potential. At least one of the perks here is we don't have to worry about. We don't have to worry about. What do you call it? Atrocity. So let's see if we can't come in with the Ziggs. I was hoping the landmarks we would get the opportunity for the landmark destruction with the Ziggs. Looks like we're not gonna get that opportunity right away. We still have a blocker for the She Who Wanders, so not dead just yet. Say, do your job, Clockling. Come out here and show the world what you can do. Aye, not dead yet. Not dead yet. That was bad. Well, I think we should have just fallen to 2 so that we would still have the unit on the board. Something to, like, I don't suspect we're going to do much copying with the Black Flame, but if we say come into next turn and find Taliyah and then want to copy Taliyah with the Black Flame, we need a unit that can attack. It was a little bit sloppy. That game was probably done anyways, but it's tough. Real close. We had that critical turn there in the middle where we a couple of critical turns, I should say, where we could have potentially pushed in a lethal, but didn't go with the full aggression. But nonetheless, good stuff. Good stuff. Got to showcase a lot of the powerful abilities there. The thing I'm curious about with that game is if we should have held on to that Roiling Sands. I don't feel like he played enough units to come in and take advantage of it, but it seems like we slipped a little bit there. All right, Ari Kennan with Demacia. I wonder if our friend here caught our previous video where we were trying to take advantage of the same idea. All right, well, I'll pick up the Ziggs. No access to Rite of Negation in there. That's, of course, the big spell we would be looking for in terms of counterspelling a champion's strength. All right. My concern with this turn is, like, if we play Ziggs and then he has a homecoming, that's fairly tough, but I think we need to just be bringing as much damage as we can as fast as we can here. He's gonna, like, block and have a recall or something, and so I feel pretty safe that the rest of our squad is going to be able to come in and attack. The recall itself is a little bit worse than a homecoming, because now we can replay Kennan and kill off our Rockhopper, but not terrible. Alright, the Kinku Wayfinder. He does not find another Kennan with his wayfinding friend. Can't do anything about these. And then we're in kind of a bind because we can't present a lethal on this upcoming turn. He has the space to where he can bank a little bit and get himself out of a or still have a big champion strength next turn. Get our Rock Bear in. It just doesn't... We can get them in after combat, but not before. Alright, we should at least start getting some flips this way. We're going to drop the second Rock Bear Shepherd. We'll have the 2 Rock Bears on board. We're going to be 1 short of flipping the Ziggs. That's okay, though. We got to start blowing up these landmarks. If our opponent doesn't have the... if our opponent doesn't have the champion strength next turn, then this will at least leave us in a pretty good spot with the Ziggs and the flips and the Herald. Okay.
Friends do make chores easier.
Don't feel like that was the outcome opponent was hoping for. Don't feel like that was it.
Come and get it. It will be done. You have much to learn.
Recall back on Kennen, sure. So we don't have to worry about the champion strength next turn. Looking good now. Looking good now, huh? Good stuff. GG. So a little reminder, if you're not sure what's going to happen, you can highlight the Oracle's Eye. That was a fast speed spell, right? So he had the potential there to put the Homecoming onto the landmark and then look at the Oracle's Eye, see that that was going to summon a Ziggs and then summon 2 more Rock Bears, but did not do it. Did not do it. Good to see our captured friend come right back onto the board. Oh boy, man. Okay, we can get this game in. I started hearing the notifications on my phone. It's fantasy football time. The injury reports all come out an hour before the game, and I'm starting to get the injury reports. It's looking bad. My in one league, my team is looking okay. In my casual league with my friends and family, things are going good. In our slightly more competitive league, things are going poor. This injury-plagued season. A lot of the players I was having high hopes with did not perform, and so I'm struggling there. And so it's like I'm at this point there where I'm just kind of like I hate like hoping for injuries, but I need some like injuries so I can pick up some tier 2 players being pushed up into the tier 1. All right, but slow start from opponent. We can go ahead and get the Roiling Sands down now. So if he comes in and starts dropping his various acolytes, then we're good to go in terms of getting the challenges in. Now this is kind of an interesting spot in that if he plays an acolyte, I would prefer to get into combat with the Devout, but if he plays a Ziggs, we're going to want our own Ziggs, right? And so his deck tends to play Pokey Stick, and so I worry a little bit about getting our Ziggs into combat here, but I'm still happy enough to do so. Probably not here, though, right? Probably not here. I don't want to give him the sarcophagus just yet. Okay. Looks like he's going to be dropping the spells on our Ziggs friend. It's not bad. If it keeps him from developing his board, that's going to be an advantage for us. We have a much more powerful late game than this person does with all of our Taliyahs and our Black Flames. So if we just get a little bit more time throughout these games, we have a little bit more potential to pop off. Okay, not particularly interested in these. I mean, the Rock Hopper is okay. It is going to let us help, I guess, let us help us build up to our champions. So maybe this is okay. We'll take the Rock Hopper, open with the Rock Hopper next turn, and then maybe we get to kind of pick and choose the kind of combat we get into.
If it's made of sand, I can ride it.
We're going to get 2 landmark blow-ups, at least by the next turn. That flips Ziggs, and then we can next turn drop Taliyah onto the sarcophagus. Okay, we're good to pass. Banking onto this quicksand mana feels like a bit of a win. Well, oh, we got stunned. I was going to say, well, we'll try to take this Acolyte down now that we have the chance, but he hexploded us.
I just can't wait. Here we go.
All right, Taliyah, let's party. It's party time.
Onward, everybody! The horizon calls. Come on.
All right, so we don't have a big overwhelm kind of card, but we're about to start popping off otherwise. It feels like he's going to have like a second Acolyte to blow up the minefield to stun the Taliyah and then attack, but like we're reasonably set this turn with the quicksand to get in front of one Acolyte and then a second block in front of an Endless Devout. So things aren't horrible. All right, rip Ziggs. Took a lot of work though. And the pokey stick for the Havadals. That's kind of crushing. At least this isn't a lethal attack. We'll get to trade away some of this stuff on the upcoming turn. Right, I feel like a little bit safer when we have the quicksand in terms of the next turn's blocking. The question we have to ask that I'm not like really sure with this matchup is like there's not a lot of value in actually trading for these Acolytes, right? I think this is the extent of what we get to do here. Take down the single Acolyte, leave our blockers back, don't give him the opportunity to pick up these sarcophagus, and then hopefully we can just dig around for a little bit and pick up a way to give Taliyah overwhelm. I don't think we're in a hurry here, right? And it's important to note that he's already burned 2 Hexplosive minefields, so we can dodge that just a little bit. But see, now when he like makes this attack, we can look to maybe quicksand the Endless Devouts to make sure our restored Devouts survive. I think that's okay. Can look to blow up a sarcophagus with the Naturalist. We're not going to just get killed here, right? I guess that's always a valid point to examine.
Wind's behind me.
Don't just kill me, please. So I was looking to save the Naturalist to take down a sarcophagus. He's going to have 5 units. We've only got 4 blockers at the moment, but we have an Unworthy Soul in hand. I think this is okay, at least for now. Then I'm looking to just build up into next turn to where we can Black Flame onto Taliyah and hopefully present some mega lethals, if you will. Do you all ever make a mega lethal? That's what life's all about. That's what life's all about. So let's see. Quicksand. Did we mess this up? No. We would never, never do such a thing.
Out of my way.
Okay. So I guess we do die to a Rite of Negation here. I don't remember if this deck plays Rite of Negation. If it does, it's one copy. And so, I mean, I think I'd be willing to, at this point, just accept it. No, that's what it is. We could have done that. I mean, maybe it would have been a little safer to go about it the other way. Right, with the quicksand, we could have quicksanded the Devout on the end and then put our 2/2 in front of it. And then on the following turn, we would have been looking to make some kind of capture play with our Black Flame. That's tough. Like, we would have been in a spot where, you know, being alive is certainly better than dead. I'm not sure if we would have been able to pull that game out, but the way that sequencing did it, it leaves us in a much better spot if he doesn't have the spell, right? When he's got 2 cards in hand. He can't be playing too many more Ruinous Acolytes. He's going to be counting on those Sarcophagus, but he doesn't have anything to really like drive down the countdown. And so against a deck that oftentimes just doesn't even play Rite of Negation, I think it's reasonable to take that route. All right, on to the next one against this thing. This deck is everywhere. And so, again, we want to find Endless Devouts, we want to find Ziggs, and we want to find Rockhoppers. So we'll mulligan away the remainder of the stuff. A little bit of Ancient Prep. Rockhopper should be okay here. It's tough with the Rockhopper because he's not like one of our really high-powered cards, right? He's not a Ziggs, he's not a Taliyah, he's not a Rock Bear Maker. And so it's definitely on the weaker end of the things that we can do. But if this deck just jumps out too far ahead of us, we're going to get smoked. And so I do like having the Rockhopper on turn 2 just to start combating down these Acolytes. Seems like a very aggressive attack with his. Okay. Sounds good. All right, then kind of a bummer collection of landmarks, right? We would ideally have a good thing to copy with Taliyah next turn. I mean, maybe we'll get into combat with the Devout here and be able to kill it off. As you could kind of see in that previous game, we were doing a lot of keeping these Sarcophagus active or keeping the Sarcophagus away and unable to put them on the board. Interesting here. So it's like next turn we're certainly going to play Taliyah. So the next card we'd play would be like 2 turns from now. We need something positive, right? These 2 Rite of Negations are not cards you want against this deck. They just don't land against anything. You don't want to Rite of Negation a Pokestick. So it's like, feels like we need to just like draw something. Maybe the Preservarium can help here a couple turns from now. But we do have a Taliyah with protection for the next turn, so we at least get started in with some of these shenanigans.
Keep your eyes on the horizon and your feet on the ground. Distance means so little when family means so much. Let's put these rocks into motion.
this flipped? No. Okay.
Threading a needle. Throw another rock.
I suspect he won't take the full 10. Oh, wow. That is greedy. So if we can make it to the next round with an overwhelm, we should be able to take this game down. He's definitely going to get some big boys on board this turn, but I don't think they're going to be able to flip their Taliyah. Now, the thing we might be able to pull off next turn as well, I say we'll have to see how they spend their mana, but we have some potential to, not so much anymore, but we had some potential to shrink his units to be smaller than the fearsomes so he can't punch an attack in.
I always forget there's a city beneath our feet.
Might still be able to get there, though. He's just spent a bunch of mana on stuff that doesn't super matter. Can we win this on open attack next turn? Let's see. So, if we send Taliyah back to hand now, we, of course, risk her being a problem, but we should have 2 restored Devouts, and then he has to put the 1 restored Devout in front of Taliyah. She's going to deal 2 damage. Then 2, we're 1 short. Is that right? I think that's right.
Some rocks just won't sit still. If only you were made of rock.
So this is the fresh way that we can go about it. So now we'll take the 10, we'll have the 2 restored Devouts. We'll quicksand Taliyah out of being able to block, and then we maybe have Rite of Negation mana. I didn't check it that well, but this is hopefully enough. The 10 power of fearsomes coming through is what we're really looking to achieve here. So even against, say, like a pokey stick, we should still be able to take this down. It says, boy, that 10 damage was greedy. That 10 damage sure was greedy. GG, my dude.
Do this more often.
All right, my shitty fantasy team's in good standing. Let's go. Let's get this on. See what we can do. Get out of this mess. Oh my gosh, so much of this deck. Come on, guys. Come on. You know what we're looking for, though. Ziggs, Rockhopper, and our other Endless Devout. Not a great start. These Rite of the Arcane's not exactly what we're looking for here, but we'll make the best of it. We'll do what we can. Maybe we'll pop an early Ziggs here and feel good about ourselves. Interesting, he didn't play as Acolyte. Wonder why he would hold it. Is that his preferred target for a Rockhopper? That's weird.
Gonna catch the sky.
Interesting, I tell you. What do we got? These cards do not work. Do not work. Needed really hoping that there was a Ziggs in there, but just something, anything to let us participate in this game. Taliyah lets us participate. We can play her to not copy anything. I mean, what is probably the realistic thing we're stuck doing here? And don't get me wrong, this feels terrible, but I think we have to Unworthy Soul our own Ancient Prep. Then we can replay the Ancient Prep, maybe draw something, or if we have to, copy it with Taliyah. Kind of like the Rock Bear Shepherds here. Gives us we can then, we could play it next turn and then copy the Rock Bear card with Taliyah, not being nearly as bad of a spot. A little bit of catch up. Then we can take down the remaining Acolyte here.
Rise and shine, Sleepy Doops.
Rise and shine, Scoopy Doop. Is that what that guy just said? Is that what you're saying to me, Rock Bear Shepherd? Rise and shine, Scoopy Doop. All right, so we're going to get boomed next turn, right? There's no two ways around that. Opponent hopefully can't get more than one Acolyte on the board. I think that's kind of where we stand. I forget the 1 mana. Excuse me, can drop like the 1 mana thing to put an additional whatever these are called, but okay.
Come on, there's so much to see.
Oh, we're just dead here. Okay.
Until I'm through
That's done. Our hand did absolutely nothing, and he had the 3rd Acolyte in his hand. There's no coming back from that. But I don't expect to win too many games when you start with triple right of triple right of whatever in your hand, right of the arcane. What's up? What am I? We cheered for you at Worlds. I feel bad you didn't achieve the supreme victory, but doesn't always happen. All right, well, let's keep a little bit of this Black Flame. He looks to be playing Scouts, which I wholeheartedly approve of. I think we should potentially just have a little bit of time here in the early game to try and punch this stuff through. Hopefully, we don't have to be out here just mulliganing for the right of negation, but we'll see. We'll see if we get that turn 5 boom on us.
Would you look at this place?
All right, so we're getting lined up to get the Ziggs on the board. We have that sweet Ziggs combo, should we need it, with the Black Flame and a card in hand. Let's see. Let's see what happens. We're not going to get like good interactions with Valor.
but not that.
That's a problem. You are a problem, Misfortune. Do we want to just give up our board though? Like, how bad is that? It just doesn't feel like we ever come back in this game if we either A, play Ziggs now or Rite of the Arcane Misfortune. We can try and pop her in the near future, but hopefully we can take her down before a flip happens. So we need another scout unit.
This'll be a blast. Light the fuse.
Alright, get in there, Ziggs. Nice combat, bro. We'll be adding in the Preservarium, seeing what happens. More Ziggs. Bouncing Bomb, not really what we're looking to do.
Every wave is a path.
Alright, doesn't feel good, but maybe we can catch up. No, that's not going to happen. Alright, GG, my dude. Little bit awkward. Little bit awkward.
I guess next time I gotta use even bigger bombs.
All right, next battle. We already played this guy earlier, right? He's playing the Ziggs deck. Welcome to the video again, my friend. Say what up, Satoru Dog. But all right, this is like our 8th time against this deck in 6 different games, and so you all know the deal by now. You know the strategy. We're looking for Rock Hoppers. We're looking for Ziggs. We're looking for the Endless Devout. To come down and try and get our 3 powered dudes on the board. Wonder how slow, like, if we ever play this Rock Hopper a little slow, if we wait until turn 3, right? It's our attack token. I'm curious how we can try to pull this off to where the Roiling Sands doesn't go onto an opposing unit. We either get to use the Roiling Sands with the Rite of the Arcane, or we get to use it with the Naturalist, so we don't have to just have it be devoted to a vulnerable. Definitely get to dodge the Clockling by stalling just a little bit. Now I need to see if we can hit a real unit or keep it on board until the next turn. Which, keeping it on the board until next turn looks to be fairly legit here. I don't think you typically want to just be blowing up these minefields to get your Devout on the board. So if we get to drop the Naturalist, I'll be reasonably happy. Oh. Bro says no thank you.
Stands beneath me and wins
But I got a second one. Maybe that's enough. Do we ever just look to send this 1 mana card back to his hand? Is that really the world we live in these days? Wow. Wow.
out of my way.
I don't know, man. I don't feel like I want to be a part of that world. I don't want to be a part of that. Man, these Rite of Negations are pretty brutal in this match. Again, just counterspelling a Pokey Stick. I guess you can counterspell Teen Spirit if you want, but there's not a lot of really good options to take down with that thing.
Yeah, why not?
I go.
Right, but this is kind of nice, having the opportunity to take down an Acolyte with a Desert Naturalist. This is the last opportunity this game that the Naturalist is going to have to be relevant in combat, and so that was pretty sweet. Opponent, has the opportunities to interact with this Sarcophagus now, so we'll just blow it up with the Acolyte, but I think this is fine. And the unfortunate thing with this dum-dum is he only costs 1 mana. I've made the mistakes of trying to send back restored Devouts and immediately realizing spending that 5 mana on the 1 mana unit was probably not the best deal, not the best value I've ever incurred.
If it was important, they should have built it better.
All right, well, we can at least get that thing out of the way. Again, not too much else to really do for the turn. We could try and send his other Acolytes back to hand, but just a very awkward collection of cards. I think that's just where we stand. It's not the worst. Like, he can't, just play it, right? That's kind of the downside with this space, is he can just replay this thing. Maybe we just give up the mana gem at this point. Like, I don't know. It's just we've run into some of these very awkward hands to where we have multiple Rite of Negations, multiple Unworthy Souls, and they are hot garbage in this matchup. And so I don't know. I don't completely have the answer. We're not doing a lot of hitting Aatroxes today, and so it makes it a little awkward for our game plan.
This'll be a blast.
All right, we can follow up with Ziggs. Probably just got another dude at this point, but ooh. Interesting. Well. Not quite ready to just trade the Ziggs away. But we are in that kind of awkward space to where it's like, well, if we unworthy soul the Acolyte, he's just going to replay it and hit the minefield. I mean, maybe that was an okay outcome, but he gets to come in and grow all of his units at that point. It doesn't feel great. Is this turn really going to involve us playing the unworthy souls here? We have to play it at some point, right? Then he just gets to immediately drop them back on the board. I think maybe this is a little bit better. To at least just get the health back onto Ziggs. We have infinite mana at this point.
Did somebody say explosives?
Yeah, but what a dumpster of a board. Oh man. We do have the nice sacrifice on the Endless Devout. We just don't have the mana for it at this point. All right. The one spell that we could play a Rite of Negation on, we didn't save the mana for. It's annoying. So now we got our Taliyah ready to copy stuff. Jesus, we played 2 landmarks this game. That's bonkers. He never blocks here. Oh, take that back. Take that back. He wants us to have the bonuses. Was this the guy that we burned on the we burned on the fearsome play on that last turn of the game? Maybe he's a little worried about that happening again. But this is fine to give Taliyah the vulnerable. We still have this unworthy soul that we've been aching to use. We have a shot to just protect Taliyah with it. Ooh, now we can kind of pop off with the Rock Bear. We lose 1 unit out here. Oh, I keep thinking you can kill landmarks with this dumb card. It's incorrect. You are not capable of doing that. Alright, he's coming in for 9. This is probably as good as we can do. Ziggs not anywhere near flipping. We can kind of hope, right? We can drop the Rock Bear and then hope we have a summon for the next turn. But I don't think Ziggs is going to be ultra relevant this game. Getting that unit off of the board is probably just a touch more important. And our board's not that bad. He's kind of ground out of cards. We have a bit of protection with the rights. Really need a unit here, though. Of course. in the saltiest way that you can say it. Drop in, of course. But I don't think we're going to be in this space to where we can do cool quicksand stuff and get the win with these sarcophagus this game. I think this is a space, though, to where, we can pretty realistically quicksand some blocks forward with the Desert Naturalists. We'll see how it goes. Like, I don't know if we can win this game without Taliyah. We might just have to drop a full quicksand on whatever hooks her. But we have a bit of play to this hand. All right, now that his units go up to 8, we can do a single quicksand to protect a Taliyah here. Maybe we got something out of that. I wonder, it's kind of awkward in this spot. I wonder if we should have put the restored devout in front of a ruinous acolyte so that they only have 2 health when they come to block Taliyah next turn. I guess she has the overwhelm, so it's not as relevant anymore, but she's in that spot to where she's in the spot to where it's 1 extra damage if it only has to do 2 threaded volley or 1 threaded volley to kill the unit instead of 2. Right? He needs to swap these units around. Prevents 2 damage. There you go. You want to put the 3 in front. There you go. All right. I won't Rite of Negation away our threaded volleys. Our rock slams will not be taken away. And let's see. I mean, it seems like last turn he had a ton of cards in hand and didn't do anything with them, and so maybe we have something going for us in that sense. I don't really want to have to just go for Ziggs, but like we have to potentially have 2 blockers next turn. We're probably just throwing Taliyah away as it stands, but gotta have something. All right, Rite of Negation coming through. Welcome to the game, friend. Welcome to the game. All right, now the Ziggs bomb will pop off as well. A little bit of damage to face. Opportunities aplenty, my friends. Opportunities aplenty. What's this? Create another guy? All right, that's less opportunities, but... We're doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can.
You're ruining everything.
All right, need a all-time top 10 top deck right here. Taliyah. Rockhopper, you're not it. I was asking for a top 10 top deck. You didn't bring anything near that high. Oh, no. We should have countered that. That was awful. We were looking for the all-time top 10 top deck, and it didn't. Oh, my God, and he's trading? Why would you ever trade? Oh, no. This is such a brutal one to have slip away like that. No, not like that. Ah, that was brutally terrible. Man. All right. That's such a bummer. Like... the way that game went, having just like essentially starting with like a -4 cards in hand, right? It's so easy to readily admit and see how terrible the bounce spell is in this matchup and how underperforming Rite of Negation is, right? You don't want to Rite of Negation a Pokey Stick. You don't want to Rite of Negation drop the bomb. And so just to have the game come to being like so close to victory with such a shitty start and to throw it away like that at the end. Oh, that's savage. But, all right. Move on to the next one, on to our final battle. Let's see how this goes. See if we can't salvage some win rate here today. What do we got? In the Aatrox Cave. All right. So what do we got? We'll hang on to our Rock Bear Shepherd friend. He's pretty decent here. Unworthy Soul is good in this match, but it's not that great here in the early game. So we're not going to send our opponent's 2-drop back to their hand just to kill the equipment. So we'll send it away. Look for our Rock Hoppers, our Ziggs. You know the early game friends we're looking for. It's really tempting to pick up this Endless Devout. We just don't have any way to kill it off. Alright, so Ziggs coming around. I want to get just some more dudes on board. Taliyah is a great addition now. We got all the sweet combos ready to party.
Pledge to the dark within.
Rise and shine, sleepy dupes.
Alright, so here we just need time, right? This is a reasonable enough block just to shut down a bit of the damage coming through. We have this big collection of value stuff between copying something with the flame and getting Ziggs down and everything, but we just need some time to get up to that turn 5. Curious if we... expecting that we would have some potential to copy the Rock Bear. Maybe, I mean, are we really just stuck here? Like, we can copy... just summoning a bunch of tutus. I guess... the Rock Bear Shepherd is a valid target for the Black Flame. Given that if we're going to then copy it with Taliyah, we should be getting a bunch of Rock Bears in the background. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Probably keep this mana banked up. I like the... we don't need to like immediately draw anything off the Preservarium. But if we come in and pick up a Quicksand, or if we pick up a Rite of the Arcane, we are kind of interested in casting those next turn. So let's just hang back on these Preservariums. See how this turn develops.
I will weave my own path. Together, we are stronger than
All right, that's how you get all the Rock Bears on board, though. You just need to get the Black Flame going. Interesting. Who's going to attack again, right? But then we get to clear out our board a little bit and get the Rock Bear train going. Doesn't have any mana at this point. Interesting. It's not like we have to worry about the cultist spell doing the bit of a strike. Now, as long as we just have a unit to attack, I'm great. Like, if we lose out on Taliyah, it's a touch unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. Ziggs isn't going to be flipped, though. Let's just take our open. Then we can play Ziggs and stuff after the fact and try and get some of these Rock Bears online.
friends do make chores easier.
And we picked up our Unworthy Soul to send the Aatrox back this round.
Into the abyss.
It's pretty cool. So I think I guess the question is, do we want to get a second Rock Bear on board next turn? We can play the Rock Hopper and then just overwrite it with Ziggs. I think I'm okay with this. Oh, hang on. No, that doesn't work. I I was thinking we still had our guys on board. That was not exactly what we were hoping for. But maybe this works out okay if we get to just block with the Rock Hopper and then replay Ziggs next turn. Ooh, and a Rite of Negation? That's a good looking hand.
Out of my way.
Alright, so let's leave Camp Lock Bro behind. We get Ziggs on the board now. Something's going back to hand this turn. I'd ideally see him, come in with Aatrox, and then we just get the big tempo play onto his Aatrox. But I feel like if he had an Aatrox, he probably would have just played him, right? Kane, that'll work.
Yes, yours.
You are appropriately expensive. And he's really short on mana now. Do we ever want to get rid of this secondary Rock Bear? Just to draw a card with the Preservarium? I'm not sure on that one. That's definitely a potential play.
One really big one.
The we're falling rocks. More hands make quick work.
So hopefully we can just come in and blow up some of these landmarks now and get our big kill. Forgiven Cold, that's kind of nasty. These Rock Bear Shepherds are not the greatest attackers in the world. So we could look to actually Rite of Negation away our Ziggs to cancel this 5 lifesteal, but we're going to be short of lethal from that point, so we're just going to have to let him go. Let him go. You fought well. You fought strong, my friend. Just not hard enough. Now we gotta worry. We don't have our. We were really counting on winning the game on that attack, and that did not go well. Absolver might get us some distance, but see how this lands. I think you still get a unit this way. It's been a while since we've had to do this play. All right, we're getting our Rock Bear. May still be okay here. He's got these opportunities to just gain a ton of health. And oh boy, we just drew Ziggs. Well, we're not going to let that Oblivion happen. you can have your big Aatrox, but you're not going to pop off the rest of the way. Take that back. Take that back. Maybe you will pop off the rest of the way. He's got the big lifesteal on Geralt. We're going to have to 20 him next turn. Oh boy. This one slipped away. this one definitely slipped away. Alright, we're just dead here. GG. So, whew, that's tough. That was a rough set of games. I feel like if we were a little bit more experienced with the deck, that last matchup there would have been probably successful. Maybe copying in the Rock Bears wasn't enough. It felt like getting some of those 5/5s on the board might be enough to kind of push us ahead, but after that initial attack, we didn't really want them anymore. And so maybe after we got that initial collection of rock bears, then we should have just overwritten that thing with the Preservariums or something. I'm not certain, but if we had another 25 games of this deck under our belt, I feel like we would have probably approached a lot of that last game differently and probably just smoked it. And so it feels like we had all the tools you needed there. But nonetheless, interesting deck. This is again, like historically, what has really given Taliyah Ziggs problems has been decks like Pirates and Scouts. You really kind of don't have a lot of good early game. Your early game units are kind of bad, and you need that time to just kind of come in and build up, right? You don't really like incrementally build up your board like you would with a deck like Scouts or Elites or something like that. You just kind of go, oops, I just hit you for 16, right? It's a lot closer to an OTK style deck than it is an engine deck or a value deck or something. And so if your opponent's typically been able to just slam a bunch of units onto the board, you struggle there. You find some games to where you're able to develop those big OTKs and those big turns. And with this, you have at least a little bit more game if you're getting Rock Bear Shepherds on the board and getting some 5/5s down quickly. But those of where you have historically struggled, and as you played, did we literally play like 4 games against the Restored Devout deck or whatever that guy's called, and we managed to take one of them down, but that one was a close one. I feel like we were really close to a 50% win rate against that deck, and I don't feel like that should ever be the case. It feels like that's definitely like a 70-30 or a 65-35 in the favor of the Restored Devout deck. And so, this deck, it is looking to play against more kind of mid-rangey offerings. It's looking to play against more decks like Nora, right? The way that this is really capable of shutting down your opponent's board is when they play a deck like Nora, to where they're trying to just develop a bunch of width and block. And so you say, okay, I'm attacking you with, I'm attacking Nora deck with 50 stats. They say, cool, we just block. Don't take any damage, and then just immediately refill the board. This deck is able to crush through those with the Overwhelms. That's why I say it's typically something that you see in a best of 3 lineup, but you don't see in too much on the ladder. And I suspect that's probably what happened at Worlds as well. I haven't heard the Aragorn fella talk too much about the deck and the choices and everything going in it, but you can see how things in that last game against the Aatrox deck were really able to develop. To where when we're playing against the Scouts and we're playing against the what do you call it? I can't remember, the Acolytes deck. You really struggle because their game plan is just not what we're looking to play against. And so it could find yourselves having this be a reasonable ladder climber. I feel like if we were in the Platinums, we would probably be cruising through, but now that we're in Diamond and playing a lot of the former Masters players against the decks that are quite good against this, then we're going to struggle quite a bit. And so you could certainly see in a lot of those matchups, we did not want the bounce spell. That was just very awkward the vast majority of the games. And then we typically just didn't have time to play the Black Flame value-based plan. And so there's certainly a world where this is good. It definitely just took down Worlds in pretty epic fashion. But I doubt this is going to be a strong ladder deck, especially with the Acolyte deck being the hot thing right now that everyone is looking to try out. And so maybe, give it a week if you're really into it, or otherwise just save it for best of 3. And so, good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.